All righty. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Saturday. We're having a few technical difficulties this morning, but nevertheless, the show must go on. We are here. Maybe we'll sing the theme song for you at the end or something, but we are here this Saturday morning. Happy Saturday. Happy MLK Day weekend. I got to give a shout out to the women of Delta Sigma Theta. Happy Founders Day. Soros. It's an exciting weekend, 110 years of service, and 75 years right here on the North Shore. So we are talking about having a service weekend this weekend. I am Kimberly Holmes Ross of Evanston Cradle to Career, where we partner with over 40 organizations to make Evanston the most equitable place it can be. And before we get started, if you don't subscribe to our newsletter, I'm going to encourage you to do that. We'll make sure that it's in the comments. And this week we wrote a little bit of something about MLK and equity. And I just want to read it because I think it's important. This year will mark the 60th anniversary since King delivered the iconic I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington. As we reflect and celebrate a man who brought us a vision for a fair and just world, we also want to internalize that very dream and continue to create change together. So we hope we're making him proud. I know we got some people on this call who are making me proud and making Evanston proud and really the whole country proud. So I'm really excited about this show. We are on our favorite platform, like every Saturday, our very favorite platform with our super producer, Mr. Mann. Good morning, Mr. Mann.
Good morning, Kim, and good morning, advocates. Good morning, Robin.
And couldn't do it without him. Good morning, advocates. Good morning, Advocate Jamie. Good Advocate Amber. Good morning. And of course, our Facebook Live family and our Radio La Difference family. Thank you for tuning in with us every Saturday morning. Please take time and share this video. You won't want to miss it. We're going to be talking about the big payback. We're going to be talking about reparations, and you want to be the first to hear it. So share this video, and we're going to just jump right in. Welcome home, Alderman Simmons. Welcome home. We've been following you.
Thank you.
We've been following you all over the country. I'm tired. We've been following you. We are so proud of you. We are so proud of you, and we are so excited that we are bringing this thing home. So I'm just gonna stop talking. I'm gonna turn it over. We want to hear everything. We want to hear about the screening. We want to hear what's going on with reparations. We want to hear it all.
Awesome. Well, first, I want to also say happy day to all the incredible Delta women coming from a Delta family. Yes. And Kim, I want to just take another moment to congratulate you and congratulate Evanston Cradle to Career for making such an important appointment to have you in the role of executive director. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So much is happening, and I will start with just a few Evanston updates because that's where my priorities are, and that's where the work has started. It started a national movement right here in Evanston. And so we continue to build on the work, the Equity and Empowerment, the Reparations Committee, which includes Alderman Burns, Reed, and Harris, as well as community members, including myself, Mr. Carlos Sutton, Attorney Claire McFarland, and everyone's friend, Bonnie Lockhart. And so what we've done recently is we've added $10 million to the initial $10 million commitment. This is coming from graduated real estate transfer tax. We have creatively front funded that $10 million so that we can disperse all of the ancestors. So I just want to say that right now we're working on a new administrator because we have funding for everyone that has been on that list. You have your numbers. It was a public process. You know where you're at on the list. We look to get those disbursements out this year. So I want to start with sharing that. because we still are the only city, although I'm hearing as much as 400 cities right now that have been inspired by Evanston, Illinois, and taken a next step. I just saw Kansas City pass yesterday. We still are the only city that has identified its first remedy and the only city that is beginning to disperse. So Evanston, Illinois, be proud of what you're doing. Be proud of the audacity, the bravery, the innovation, the commitment to repairing the historic harms in the Black community, because it is not easy. It's very complicated, and it's very easy to be critical. And even the criticism is understood because there's so much harm and so much repair that is needed. And so to those that are not satisfied, we don't have any argument with you, because we aren't either. We're still doing the work. And so the work that we've done in Evanston is still inspiring a nation. We've been all over the country. Kim has been on the road. We were in Tribeca together. But not only around the country, we've been across the world. This last few months, we were in Geneva, Switzerland. Myself and some of the first repair team, I think I saw Elisa Walker on the call. She and I and other colleagues were at the United Nations. We were in collaboration with the International Movement for Black Reparations, people of African descent all across the diaspora that have been harmed by the transatlantic slave trade. And so we were there to learn and share. We had an official side event at the United Nations. We will be back at the United Nations this May to continue lifting up the work that's happening in Evanston and using it as a launch pad for other cities, and ultimately synchronizing all of our efforts so that we can get a federal bill for reparations, which is really needed. As much as we can do at a local level is important, but a federal initiative, HR 40 passing, establishing a commission and beginning to make remedies for the crimes against the humanities of Black people over 400 years. And so those are our goals internationally as a community. And then at First Repair, we are just using it as an infrastructure to coordinate, convene, collaborate, share best practices, lift up initiatives that need more support. We recently convened a symposium in Evanston, Illinois in early December, where over 100 leaders came from all across the nation to learn and share in Evanston, learn from what happened in Evanston, and apply it appropriately to their cities, acknowledging that Evanston is not a blueprint. We don't believe really there is a blueprint. We believe that this work is very hyper-local and specific to the conditions of the locality, and we recognize that, but we do work together. In addition to that, I'll jump right into the screening, actually, or the documentary. So a little bit about the documentary before the screening. In 2019, the city of Evanston passed Resolution 126R19. At the same time, Erica Alexander and her colleague Whitney Dow were in production of a reparations documentary. And one of their producers, Zan Parker, saw the news of what happened in Evanston and told the team, hey, we might need to pay attention to what's happening in Evanston. I got an Instagram inbox from Erica Alexander, or what do you call it, DM or inbox, from Erica Alexander, and said, hey, really excited to know more about what's happening in Evanston. Can I come there and, learn more? I'm filming, whatever. I was very busy, and it was Maxine from Living Single. So I'm like, absolutely, you could come. Okay, see you. So she came, and she and her team filmed the town hall. If you all remember, it was at First Church of God Christian Life Center. It was just a high time in the launch of the local reparations movement. And they continued filming ever since that day. That's exactly how it happened. And so since then, the film has been completed. It was accepted or invited into the Tribeca Film Festival, which is really a prestigious honor for them. And it since has been picked up by PBS and will have its national broadcast this Monday at 10 p.m., but that's after the event of our local community screening that's going to happen at the AMC Theater downtown Evanston. We hope to see as many of you there as possible. It's sold out at this point, but we hope that many of you did receive your tickets and will, in addition, watch the PBS screening on 10 p.m. at 10 p.m. I think that's channel 11 or 16. I'm not sure. Yes. And so please, 11. So please do watch. And then after that, it'll be streaming everywhere. Hulu and Apple Pay and all Apple TV and those sorts of things. But most importantly, this documentary has already been a tool. It's been a tool to support the movement for reparations. It is not entertainment. It is special to see so many of us on the big screen. And I'll tell you, every time I've watched it, I've probably watched it 5 times now, I see someone else in the documentary. But it's been a tool for the movement already. It's been a discussion tool to move the movement forward, to understand the complexities, the concerns, the challenges, the opportunities, and also the those that have different opinions about how to pursue reparations, what is repair, who is eligible. And so one thing that I really appreciate about this documentary is it's very honest. It shows every voice. It's not a Robin documentary or a opposition documentary, or it really shows Black folks in support of reparations, Black leaders that don't want reparations. It shows Black folks that have different opinions on what forms of reparations. It shows allies in support of reparations. It shows white people not in support of reparations. It shows our city staff and how they played a key role in operationalizing the work. It shows all generations of the community. It's really, really special. And I hope that people take the time to tune in. And then the last thing that I'll say, did I mention is at AMC Theater, if you are signed up, we're encouraging people to get there early because it is sold out, and we want to make sure that there are tickets or seats rather for everyone. We're doing something special for the Foster Senior Club, and it's special for the Foster Senior Club, so I won't share the details here and time and location and all of that. But the Foster Senior Club, if you don't know who they are, you need to know who they are. It is an organization of our seniors in town, Black seniors, that have been meeting. Kim, is it 50 or 60 years they've been? I always forget. You're on mute.
I think it's closer to 60. Somebody's going to tell me in the chat, though, before we're finished. So
okay, perfect. So the Foster Senior Club is an organization that's been meeting a very long time. Until COVID, they met religiously weekly at Foster Center or Fleetwood Jourdain. And they are the group in Evanston to go to get approval, advice, direction, support, a reprimand, prayer, like whatever you need. That's the group to go to. And they are our Black elders in town. And so why we, Kim and I and Lisa and others, were really thinking about something special for the Foster Senior Club is because this work is to honor their lived experience. Mm-hmm. So we would not be doing this work if the Foster Senior Club didn't have to live through Jim Crow and, redlining and other federal and local policies that were very harmful. And so there is really never enough we can do to honor them. And it's really just a small, gesture of appreciation, but we will have a special honor for the members of the Foster Senior Club that are able to attend. And we hope that everyone will be able to make it. I hope someone else is going to speak about the Sunday event in detail. Okay, perfect. So I won't touch on that. But please do watch the film. You can follow firstrepair.org to stay involved, updated. even get updates if you want to subscribe to our newsletter. We send out updates there, and our updates are going to be specific to what's happening in the local reparations movement, not so much specific to Evanston. If you want to follow up on Evanston updates, sign up for a newsletter at cityofevanston.org/reparations. And if you want to speak to someone directly, that would be Tashik Kerr, the phenomenal Tashik Kerr, who is the staff lead for the reparations work that's happening at the city.
Thank you so much, Robin. To live in a city that is inspiring a nation is amazing. And to speak to our elders and our ancestors who experienced this redlining and this discrimination in real time, and to be able to lift them up and honor them is for us. It's not for them. It's for us to be able to do that. Is just amazing. I am so happy to be a part of that movement. And I'm so happy that the Reparations Committee saw fit to make sure that the elders were taken care of first. First before anybody. So I really appreciate that. Before we get to you, Ms. Eileen, I want to see if the advocates have any questions for Robin. I also want to check the chat because we appreciate you guys tuning in every Saturday. Miss Betty is happy and proud, and so is Miss Charlene. Thank you guys for tuning in. But Amber, do you have anything?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I'm so upset that I don't have tickets for Monday, but I will be watching PBS. Robin, I am just in awe, and I'm just so happy to be, well, I've always been Evanston proud, but I'm even more Evanston proud now. And I just hope that all the other cities in the nation, you know, see what we're doing and, you know, follow our footsteps. And I'm so happy to know you as well.
Thank you. It's mutual.
Jamie?
Yes, so thank you for joining us, Robin. I feel like I'm traveling with you when I watch you on Facebook. So thank you for keeping us in the loop. I do have a question in regards to the reparation funding that you stated will be released this year for those eligible. Is there a way for someone that wanted to sign up back then to sign up now or in the future for the funding?
Absolutely. And so thank you for sharing that. I'll share more on Facebook. I didn't know if it was too much or not enough, so I'll keep sharing. So right now the applications are closed. We did receive 630 applications in the first round of funding, and a new round of funding and possibly even a new initiative will open up in the future. We have to get through those that have applied. But what I recommend is that if someone did want to sign up and didn't, is that they definitely get in touch with Tashik or go directly to the City of Evanston website, sign up for newsletters, because announcements will be made through email blast. And then we'll do community engagement work also, but that will be the first notice.
And the advocates are happy to help doing any kind of community engagement work that you need, because if you don't know, you won't know. So we need to make sure our community knows what's going on, when to sign up, not after it's over, but when to sign up and what to do and how to get those supports. So please keep us in the loop so we can keep the community in the loop. So it's not too late. If you missed the first round, it's not too late. So we're going to make sure people get that information. So thank you for that. All right. So we want to talk about, it doesn't end Monday. It doesn't start Monday. It actually starts Sunday. We have some stuff going on Sunday. So we're excited to hear about what's happening Sunday, which is actually Martin Luther King Jr.'s actual birthday. So not the observed holiday, it's his actual birthday. And why do I know that? It's my father's actual birthday too. So I always thought that was real neat that they shared the same birthday. So two kings for me.
Amen to that.
But don't do no damn squealing.
Uh-oh. So, Ms. Eileen, are you going to tell us about, is it Reverend Eileen?
Sure. Yes, I'm the minister at the Unitarian Church of Evanston and part of the Evanston Interfaith Clergy and Leaders Group. And I'm so honored and humbled to be here. Thank you for inviting me to speak. Every year, the clergy, led mostly by Pastor Neighbors from Second Baptist, usually calls us together to do a worship service in the afternoon of Martin Luther King Day weekend on Sunday. And this year is a special opportunity for us to gather. First of all, it's the first time that we're together in a couple of years, so that feels good. And more significantly, this is our opportunity to announce the results of efforts over the last 6 months to raise interfaith support and understanding and financial contributions to the Evanston Reparations Community Fund. Back in last year, when the first time that we gathered together, one of my colleagues, Reverend Kat Banakis, said to me at our gathering, our different faith communities are learning about the efforts in Evanston towards reparations, trying to do education of our communities about what that means, what the call for the faith community to support reparations is, and how we can respond. And some of our faith communities were starting to make contributions. First United Methodist, for example, Pastor Grace and Matthew put out a call to the congregation sort of as a, let's see what we can do, offertory in the Sunday service right around Easter, and was hoping for 5,000. They ended up with 50,000. And it was, it was so inspiring. And some of our faith communities were doing a faith and reparations workshop. And we decided to ask for contributions to the fund, from attendees, and got, funds raised from members of our congregation to match those contributions. So we're just doing different efforts to raise funds. And Reverend Kat turned to me and said, wouldn't it be more impactful if we all pooled our resources and support together? Wouldn't that be a much more impactful statement if the Evanston interfaith community was saying, yes, we fully, with our money and our voices and our hearts and our minds, we are fully behind and supportive of reparations in Evanston and nationally. And of course, I said, yes, that would be more impactful. And so we started to talk with members of the Reparations Stakeholders Authority and Evanston Own It, and to really understand what would that look like? What would that support? What would a public statement look like? And we drafted a statement. We had an event in June to launch that support. Have 18 congregations currently signed on to support reparations with our financial contributions, with our ongoing education and learning about what reparations means and why it's absolutely critical and necessary. Why it's, you mentioned earlier, Robin, why, the understanding that it will never be enough, right? We will never be able to repair the harm that has been done. And I think it's essential that we hold that truth at the heart of our work towards reparations always, that grounding and that humility and that honesty and that accountability, that it will never be enough, and to keep doing it anyway, because that's the only way forward for us to work towards repair and healing and wholeness as a community, as human beings, as children of God, that we must be accountable to one another for harm that has been done, and work towards repairing it. And so this Sunday service, part of that service, in addition to the celebration of Dr. King's life and legacy, is going to be to announce what the last 6 months, what financial amount has been raised, given directly to the Evanston Reparations Community Fund. And we're excited about that announcement. I'm not going to give it away right now, but it's an exciting amount, and we know that it is just the beginning, and that the ongoing efforts, and there's a lot that's gone on around it, not just the financial support, but continuing conversations across our different congregations, continuing education and learning. And one of the things that I think has been interesting has been in my efforts in my community to raise funds amongst my people. Some of the questions that came up were, not a lack of clarity about the two funds, the city's fund and the Evanston Reparations Community Fund, and how those different sources will be distributed, and the timing and all of that. So we've been trying to do some education about that, but would love to hear also from you, Robin, if you can provide any clarity about where is the Reparations Stakeholders Authority at this point. I don't want to jump the gun and avoid answering any questions that anybody else has of me, but I'm just so grateful and proud, as you all said, to be a part of a community so dedicated to justice and equity and repair, and just grateful to be on the journey.
Thank you so much. Before we let you go, we do want you to tell us when and where this event is, and then
Critical information. Yes.
Yes, we want to make sure that we can get a flyer or something and we can get it out. I know it's Sunday, but I mean, I want to go. I want to hear what's happening and what that number is. You gave us a nice little teaser. So let's hear about that, and let's see if Robin can give us a little bit of an answer. I'm sure it's complicated how those two funds are going to work.
The service will be at 3 p.m. at Faith Temple Church of God in Christ on Dewey, and I will happily either I can email to the email that was sent to me with the link for the Zoom. I can email the flyer. It's kind of gone out pretty broadly, but I'll make sure that you all have it so that you can spread it to your communities as well.
The right communities, because I haven't seen it. So
okay. Sorry about that.
Broadly. We have to make sure we are, catching all of the communities. So we definitely want to try to support and be there. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Robin. I'm going to give it back to you.
Sure. So I can't say enough about what the interfaith community, and I'm trying to get through this Zoom without crying through the whole thing. So forgive me, but it's very emotional work. Let me skip what I was going to say about the interfaith community because it's full of tears. I'm going to get to the RSAE. Some of the technical stuff is easy. So in launching the work, we recognize the city of Evanston, first of all, cannot provide the totality of the repair that is due for a couple reasons. One, it's not in the city's purview. And two, the city is not the only responsible party to participate in reparations. And so we knew there would be a need for a companion to the work that's happening at the city. And that's where the launching of the RSAE came from. The RSAE, for anyone that wants to know more about it, is actually housed at the Evanston Community Foundation. It's currently led by Dino Robinson and Reverend Dr. Neighbors. And it is an independent fund that will always be Black-led only. And the Evanston Community Foundation is partnered in providing infrastructure to house that fund, but they passed approval that their reparative approach to housing the fund is there are no fees, there's no oversight. They are there to support and provide technical assistance in all kinds of ways, and they've done that already with their board being very helpful. Saul Anderson's been an incredible leader over there. He has, and the whole organization now have adopted repair as one of its core values. He's leading with the Ubuntu principle. And the work that's happening at the RSAE will move forward once the fund reaches $1 million. So once it reaches $1 million, the board will, first of all, expand. Secondly, I need to shout out Evanston Community Foundation for providing a grant for an administrator so that there isn't, it's a volunteer board, so that there is a staffed person that's helping move the work along. It's so important. And at that time, there will be a community process where Black Evanston, all of Evanston can participate, but Black Evanston will inform how the fund is used, how it's prioritized, who receives benefit in what order and all that, much like what happened with the city of Evanston, but it'll be independent of a government body. It'll be all community led. And before the RSAEs properly even articulated these steps and what's going to happen and whatever, the interfaith community jumped in and said, we believe in this. This is right, just, it's righteous. We're talking about the interfaith community. They started doing all kinds of things, holding meetings. They had Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee here and Congresswoman Jakowski and writing white papers on why reparations from a scriptural position, a moral position, holding reparations training and inviting us in. And I've spoken, just last night, I spoke at Beth Emmett Church and felt like I was at home, and I'm a sanctified woman and this is a synagogue, and it still felt like home. I've spoken at First United Methodist and St. Luke's and a convening of the Episcopal churches under Reverend Cat. I'm not sure, it was like 5 churches. It was at the beach. It was beautiful. My dad was in town. It was just great. But what they're going to do tomorrow is share the financial commitment that has been made. And I can say that the commitment before the financial commitment has been invaluable in how they have educated communities that we may not reach. Some folks just don't like politics and government and may be tuned out, and they can get this message in their congregation where they are feeling safe and trust the messenger and so on. And like what we've done in Evanston, the interfaith community has inspired a national interfaith community, and now there are interfaith community convenings all over the nation that are looking to what our interfaith community is doing. I've just met in the last week with 2 different international denominations that are inspired by our interfaith community and plan to release a international resolution of support for reparations from the denominations, major denominations, as well as look more hyper locally like what Evanston is doing. And so I can't thank the interfaith community as a whole enough. It started as an interfaith project because I'm a woman of faith, and it started between me and my faith. And I was, emboldened to make the recommendation to my colleagues, and here we are today. It continued as an interfaith community project because the first major decisions went through the Equity Empowerment Commission. At the time, the great Pastor Dillard was on that committee. I think he was maybe a vice chair or something at that time. So it's important that interfaith community is, in position kind of all over town. It continued on with that national convening that is iconic at First Church of God Christian Life Center, with my own pastor, Pastor Carlos Moody, coming to lead us and open us in prayer and song, So the interfaith community has been that constituency. When I talk about institutions and organizations that should be stepping up, we don't have the answers. We don't know how to direct anyone because it's all new to us. But step up, do what you're supposed to do in your space. We don't know what that is, but just be righteous or just if you're not coming from a faith perspective. And so the interfaith community is the example of just that, all love to the interfaith community. And I don't know, did you ask me a question?
You answered it all.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think you did. Yeah, I was more, yeah, just looking for some, just clarity about the RSAE.
Oh,
and
yes,
just making sure
RSAE.
people understand that, and I think that was a great answer.
Perfect.
It's
Can I
all-
just add, if I could just add one component too, is that we got some questions about when we had our event in June. It was predominantly white clergy and clergy from predominantly white congregations that have signed on to this commitment, as it should be, right? And that was I just want people to understand that was done in relationship with our Black clergy, and we were using that event as a way to speak to, as our white clergy and predominantly white congregations, to speak to our Black community, Black interfaith community, and Black community leaders as our commitment, speaking our commitment. So I wanted to provide that clarity, because some people were like, well, why were the Black clergy not standing up there making that statement? And it was because we were, as white clergy, saying this, making this commitment to our Black clergy friends and colleagues. So it is our work to do. So
Absolutely. We're excited to hear more about this Sunday, tomorrow, 3:00 at Faith Temple. And then we are super excited about the screening, bringing it back home to Evanston. I was fortunate enough to see it in New York, and I thought, boy, it can't get any better than this. We're at the Apollo. Then it came to Chicago, which was an amazing, beautiful day in October, because it was supposed to be cold, but it was like a summer day in Chicago. And it was like, well, great, we're almost home. But we finally then came down the road. We'll be at home, downtown Evanston, in a sold-out show. So this is super exciting. Evanston is full of first. We couldn't be more proud. Alderman Simmons, thank you is not even enough to say for the work and the service that you continue to do on behalf of Evanston. We are so fortunate to have you. So I say thank you, and knowing that it's not enough, but know that we love and support everything you do. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We know how busy you are, so we're gonna let you go and keep on going. But we wish you well in everything that you do. We'll be there supporting you. Anything you need, we're here.
Thank you. I know I can count on you and the advocates all the time in the faith community. So thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just so grateful to be able to do this in my own community. I can't explain how special it is. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing you guys Sunday and Monday. We'll all be there. Until then, have a safe and happy Saturday, Mr. Mann. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next Saturday.
Took my money. You got my honey. Don't want me to see what you're doing to me. Get back.
Evanston Cradle to Career Advocates for Action on Radio La Difference. Please tune in again next Saturday at 10 a.m. for another show.
Action.